As we age or recover from an injury, we often lose the automatic physical reflexes we once took for granted. Simple actions, like catching a slight stumble on an uneven path, now require intense conscious effort and carry a real, immediate jolt of fear. You might assume that practicing standing exercises, even gentle ones like traditional Tai Chi, is the best way to regain that stability. However, for those already managing balance concerns, traditional standing movements often exacerbate the problem. Watch a person's center of gravity as they shift their weight from one leg to the other. Right in the middle of that transfer is a mechanical danger zone. For someone with balance issues, stepping into it triggers a sharp, involuntary anxiety about falling. That anxiety creates a heavy cognitive load. Your brain splits its attention, trying to execute the exercise while simultaneously working to keep you upright. When the fear of falling compromises the benefit of the movement, the solution is an exercise that does not rely on standing balance to execute. Chair Tai Chi provides a highly targeted adaptation designed for your current physical needs. By placing you in a seated position, we practice supported isolation. The chair removes the physical risk of falling, which erases the cognitive load of staying balanced. This flowchart shows what happens to that mental effort. With the balance management pathway blocked by the safety of the chair, your mental energy flows directly into three distinct areas: joint mobility, muscle isolation, and breath control. Sitting down in a fully supported chair is a strategic, efficient way to build the strength required for better standing balance. Every session begins by finding your physical foundation. You sit on the front third of a sturdy, armless chair, planting your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. This profile view shows the mechanics of seated posture. Lengthening through the crown engages the deep core and spinal muscles. A slow breath in expands the ribs, followed by a slow exhale. This deliberate rhythm physically signals the nervous system to calm down. From that home base, we focus on the lower body, starting with the seated leg lift. You slowly lift your knee toward your chest to engage the muscles supporting your hips. Much of the strength-building benefit occurs as you slowly lower the leg back down, resisting gravity with continuous control. This forces the muscles to work through the entire range of motion. We then move to the ankles with alternating heel and toe taps. This steady rhythm mobilizes the ankle joint. Looking at the anatomy of the lower leg, the tibialis anterior and calf muscles fire in rapid succession to stabilize an off-balance ankle. Strengthening this specific movement allows your foot to automatically catch you the next time you step off an uneven curb. Moving back up, straightening the leg directly in front of you isolates the quadriceps on the thigh. Notice the intense contraction here. This builds the upward force needed to stand up from a low chair without relying on your arms. These small seated leg exercises serve as your invisible stabilizers, dictating how safely and easily you move through the real world. The upper body portion of the practice shifts to a fluid pace, incorporating wide arm circles, side twists from the waist, and soft hand waves. Syncing these slow movements with your natural breathing gently lubricates your shoulders, wrists, and spine, improving mobility without the impact of traditional aerobics. For joint health, consistency over intensity is the priority. Working comfortably within your current range of motion is far more effective over time than forcing a painful stretch on any single day. These upper body movements prioritize the reduction of physical stiffness and mental friction. Due to decades of daily habits, like favoring one leg when standing, most people have one side of the body that is weaker or less steady than the other. This chart compares strength between the left and right sides. By performing the same number of repetitions on both sides, session after session, the lower bar slowly rises until the gap is closed. Leveling out your body simply requires gentleness and consistent repetition, rather than achieving martial arts perfection. Find a firm, armless chair, plant your feet flat on the floor, take a slow breath, and prepare to begin.
This quiet
seated routine is a direct, measurable investment in your physical independence and everyday safety.
It might sound counterintuitive, but improving your balance and preventing falls actually begins from a seated position. Today's objective is a 7-step routine designed to build the specific muscle strength you need to navigate obstacles and recover from a sudden stumble. To begin, find a sturdy chair without wheels and plant both feet flat on the floor. Aim for the posture shown here, sitting tall with a straight spine. Throughout these movements, use the talk test. If you cannot speak in a full sentence because you're out of breath, slow down. Starting from this seated baseline allows your body to safely isolate and train emergency muscles without the risk of losing your balance during the learning process. Step 1 is the cardio march. Sitting tall, lift your knees one at a time, swinging the opposite arm. We'll do 20 total lifts. As the diagram shows, this engages your hip flexors and core, building functional strength and conditioning your heart without joint impact. We move now to step 2, controlled leg kicks. Slowly kick your right leg forward and slightly upward, then return it to the floor with control. Perform 8 kicks before switching sides. Avoid the mistake on the right. Leaning back uses momentum, not muscle. Keep your spine tall, even if the kick stays lower. This controlled elevation creates the exact clearance needed to safely step over a garden hose, a curb, or a pet underfoot. Rehearsing this elevation in a chair prepares your body to clear these everyday tripping hazards while maintaining vertical stability. Step 3 is the Tai Chi arm push. Bring your palms to your chest, slowly pressing them forward while breathing out, then draw them back with control. Aim for 10 to 12 repetitions. Focus on the downward arrows in this diagram. Keeping your shoulders relaxed and away from your ears protects your neck and ensures the muscles in your chest and arms are doing the work. Transition now to step 4, reaching body turns. Turn your torso to the right, reaching an arm slightly behind you as if looking over your shoulder. Perform 6 to 8 turns per side. The rotation should come from your waist and upper back. Focus on keeping your hips and legs anchored firmly in the seat as you turn. This stability is critical because stumbles often occur when the body's center of gravity shifts unexpectedly while turning to look at something. By practicing this separation, you ensure that a sudden look behind you won't pull your feet out from underneath your body. Step 5 targets the lower legs with seated toe raises. Lift your heels onto the balls of your feet, hold, and lower down. The sequence you see here, firing from the ankle through the calf, is highly effective for preventing falls in older adults. These muscles act as first responders, firing rapidly to catch your weight and stabilize your body when you shift unexpectedly. Move now to step 6, hip abductors. Slowly move your right knee outward to the side, then return it to center. Complete 8 controlled reps on each leg. Most daily movement is linear, meaning the muscles that provide side-to-side stability are often neglected. Developing this lateral hip strength, combined with responsive ankles, creates a safety net that protects you against sudden balance shifts in any direction. Step 7 is the gentle spine bend. While sitting tall, lean your upper body to one side and slide your hand down toward the seat. Repeat 6 to 8 times per side. This lengthens side torso muscles that tighten from daily sitting. Move only to the first sign of tension, focusing on gentle mobility. These same muscles expand your ribcage. Stretching them supports your lungs' ability to fill completely as you inhale. Addressing the compression caused by a seated posture supports better spinal health and helps maintain the ribcage flexibility needed for steady, comfortable breathing. You have now completed the full 7-step sequence. Take one final deep breath. You've just rehearsed the precise muscle patterns needed to step over curbs, check your blind spots, and catch a stumble before it becomes a fall. Bookmark this video and use this 6-minute routine as a daily reset for your body's functionality. Lasting physical resilience is built through these slow, deliberate, and consistent daily rehearsals of the way your body moves.
Here's our agenda for today's explainer. We'll start with the investment of small movements, then look at restoring your wrist mobility, move right into breathing for body harmony, and finally wrap up with building a lasting daily habit. Let's just jump right in.
Section 1, the investment of small movements. Okay, I really want us to shift our perspective here and start viewing restorative physical movements not as some afterthought, but as absolutely crucial daily deposits into your long-term wellness account. Just like financial compound interests, these tiny little efforts might seem totally invisible on day one, but their cumulative effect over time is profound.
Moving right along to Section 2, restoring your wrist mobility. We're zeroing in on an area of the body that does, frankly, an enormous amount of heavy lifting for us, from carrying heavy groceries to those hours of endless doom scrolling on our phones, and yet it almost never gets dedicated attention in a typical workout.
So, here's the thing. We really need to redefine wrist mobility. We aren't looking at this as some intense, flashy fitness metric to show off, right? Actually, it's more like a quiet but incredibly useful investment in keeping your daily hand and wrist function totally intact. We rely on our hands pretty much constantly, so keeping those joints fluid and mobile is just essential if you want to preserve your independence and keep your quality of life high. And this right here brilliantly illustrates your direct return on investment. When we take just a few minutes to gently mobilize our wrists, we are literally funding our everyday ability to do things like popping open those stubborn jars, buttoning up a shirt without a second thought, or honestly, just holding your morning cup of coffee completely steady. Those are the daily dividends you get from this practice.
So, how do we actually execute this? It's beautifully simple. Step 1, just extend your arms straight out in front of you. Step 2, make 10 slow, gentle circles in one direction. In step 3, just reverse it for 10 circles the other way. Now, a quick pro tip from the source material. As you do this, let your fingers stay soft and relaxed. Don't clench them into fists. And hey, if you notice a particular stiff spot on one side, just give that side a few extra slow rotations. Always pay attention to what your body is telling you.
All right, let's transition over to section 3, breathing for body harmony. Let's see how we can build from that isolated movement of the wrists to unlocking some really deep, full-body benefits through the harmonizing power of the breath. Just like in so many Tai Chi practices, we are going to return fully to our breathing. To get set up, you'll want to sit up nice and tall in your chair, letting your hands rest really gently in your lap or on your knees. Go ahead and let your eyes close, or just soften your gaze downward. Then you're going to breathe in super slowly through your nose for a count of 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you're doing this, you should actively feel your chest and your belly expanding together. Now let your pace slow down here to mirror the practice itself. Just pause. Hold that breath gently at the very top for just a moment. This brief little pause, that is exactly where the investment settles into your body, sort of anchoring your focus before you release. Okay, next up, breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. And as you're counting down those 6 seconds, consciously let your shoulders soften. Just let them drop right away from your ears with that exhale. The source recommends repeating this coordinated breathing cycle 2 to 3 times. Or honestly, if it feels good, just stay in that relaxed space for a little while longer. While you're doing this breathing, take a second to let your awareness slowly scan through your body. Feel your feet, grounded and still on the floor. Notice how your legs feel pleasantly worked, and your spine probably feels a bit more open now. Sense your hands. They're likely feeling warm and loose. Really feel that contrast from the clenched stiffness so many of us start our days with. As the source points out, simply noticing how different your body feels now compared to when we first sat down, well, that is the immediate payoff of this harmony.
Let's move into our final part, section 4, building a lasting daily habit. What's really fascinating here is looking at the timeline of turning these quiet little movements into an absolute, unbreakable routine. Because doing this once is nice and all, but doing it daily, that's where the magic actually happens. You know, we are so conditioned to expect dramatic breakthroughs from our workouts. We want those single, cinematic moments of sudden, sweaty change. But the reality of a gentle practice like chair Tai Chi, it is all about quiet progress. It doesn't come from one grueling session. It comes from balance, strength, and calm compounding safely over time. It might be subtle, but it is incredibly effective.
So, how do we make this habit stick? First, pick a consistent time of day. Literally just a 10 or 15-minute block, and treat it like a non-negotiable standing appointment with yourself. If you're super strapped for time, you can even just pull individual movements, like doing a few minutes of arm circles, to build shorter mini sessions. The source notes that mornings are fantastic for this, since that gentle movement tends to carry a real sense of ease into the rest of your day. But ultimately, the absolute best time is just whatever time means you'll actually come back and do it again tomorrow. If we chart this out, it gives us a really realistic roadmap. On day 1, you might just feel a bit more energized or relaxed, or maybe you just suddenly notice a tight spot you'd totally ignored before. And hey, that's all a welcome part of the practice. By week 2, you're really solidifying that standing appointment. But month 1 is where the quiet progress truly reveals itself. You probably won't have a giant firework moment, but you'll suddenly realize, wow, that movement that felt so effortful on day 1 has quietly become completely comfortable. Those tight stretches literally just slowly open up over time. Because the true power of this entire practice is returning to it day after day, letting that compound interest work in the background of your life. I want to leave you with this final thought. Taking control of your mobility doesn't require hours of total exhaustion. It literally just requires consistency. So take a look at your calendar right now. When exactly are you going to make your next deposit?
What time will you schedule your 10-minute investment tomorrow?